Hi, I'm Annie Fitzsimmons. I'm your Washington REALTORS Legal Hotline Lawyer. This video looks at the use of Form 35R, which is the response form to Form 35, the Inspection Contingency Addendum in the statewide form system. Form 35R can be both a notice form and an amendment to the contract. And if you have no idea what I just said, then you need to go to your managing broker and get some help understanding the differences between a notice and an amendment to the contract, because they are distinctly different actions within a contract. Form 35R allows a buyer to deliver a notice of termination of the purchase and sale agreement. It allows buyer to deliver a notice of additional inspection time based on the buyer's inspection contingency addendum. Form 35R also allows a buyer to request concessions that, if granted by seller, would modify or amend the terms of the purchase and sale agreement. If buyer terminates or claims additional inspection time, buyer is delivering a notice. Form 21 and all of the statewide forms, purchase and sale agreements, have contract or boilerplate language explaining that when a notice is delivered, only one member of each party or one member of the party delivering notice is required to sign or initial the form. So when buyer is terminating or claiming additional inspection time, that's a notice, and only one of the members of the buying party has to initial the Form 35R. But when a buyer is asking the seller to make concessions, the buyer is seeking an amendment to the purchase and sale agreement. If seller agrees, the purchase and sale agreement will be amended to include seller's new obligation. That is buyer seeking an amendment. It requires all the signatures of all the buyers identified as buyers in this purchase and sale agreement. All the people identified as buyers in this purchase and sale agreement. And if seller agrees to make the concessions that buyer has requested, or if seller counters and offers a different modification of the contract, then that requires the signature of all of the people who make up the seller's party, or the initials, at least on the Form 35R, all of the people who make up the seller. So as you hear me tell you all of this, your brain might be like on the verge of exploding, saying, how on earth are we supposed to remember all of this? It sounds kind of like Annie's struggling to remember this as she talks. You have a tool on the face of the Form 35R. And that's really what I want you to take away from this video. I do want you to understand the complexity of the issue, and I want you to understand the general nature of how Form 35R can be used as both a notice form and an amendment of the contract, because you simply need to know that. But you don't have to memorize everything I've just said in this video. Here's what you have to know. You have to know that the very bottom of Form 35R, lines 45 and 46, include a key that explains to you which provisions of Form 35R require a single initial from the parties versus all of the initials from the parties. And the key says that for the checkbox provisions that are followed by a single asterisk, one asterisk, that's a notice provision, and only one initial is required from the party that's initialing the Form 35R. But if the checkbox provision is followed by two asterisks, then that will result in a modification of the contract, and it requires the acknowledgement of all members of that party, or all members of each party, if it's a modification of the contract. So understand the concepts of this video. Don't feel like you have to memorize everything I said in this video. Instead, make sure you remember that Form 35R, the very bottom of the form, provides the key that you need in order to properly use Form 35R. If you have questions on this topic or any other, please ask a question by visiting warealtor.org. Thank you for being a Washington REALTORS member.